Say, man, you see my crab cakes? Till I'm all alone. If you see my crab cakes, tell her things went wrong. Don't call on the phone and bring a black dog home. I got some Louisiana hot sauce, a little tartar too. Come on, little girl, tell me what you wanna do. Them Maryland crab cakes are the best in town. Them Maryland crab cakes are the best in town. So come on, baby, let's get Louisiana down. If you see my crab cake, have you seen my crab cake? If you see my crab cake, tell I'm all alone. Tell her I still love her, and when she comes back home.
Now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. Across the web, on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calagione. It's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening. I want to wish a happy Memorial Day. Is that correct? I mean, happy Memorial Day? Yeah. Just wish everybody a happy Memorial. I'm gonna. If it's not correct, I'm doing it anyway. I want to wish everybody a happy Memorial Day. As we're coming at you live. And, of course, special shout-out to all of our military personnel, past, present, and for all of you that are going to join the military. Because without you guys, the United States wouldn't have the freedom that we all appreciate so much. So thanks to you men and women of the United States military and all the militaries. But this is our day. This is ours. Don't forget the show is being brought to you in part by Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. If you're looking for a limo and you're someplace in the United States, well, then you need to give Cat a call, 202-351-7496. That's 202-351-7496. Don't forget, Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service is the official limo service of this year's BillyCBoxing Hall of Fame induction weekend, which is taking place November 16th, 17th, and 18th in South Glens Falls. Make your plans now. 202-351-7496. Cat, tell her I said to call. That's right. And just remember, she's my girl. Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Service. One more time with the number. I know you were looking for a pen. 202-351-7496. Don't forget, she's hot, hot, hot. The show is also being brought to you in part by my friends over at the Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls. Celebrated a 1-year anniversary over this past weekend. And I don't think they're open today, but they had a great time. So if you haven't checked out the place, well, then you're missing out because the outdoor facility is open. The outdoor section of the facility is open. All that happy stuff, great food, all that. Just give them a call, 518-792-4869. And Campanaro and Tomkovich, if you're looking for a lawyer, use the ones that keep my ass out of trouble. And that's Campanaro and Tomkovich, 845-221-4099. Now, I know you call Kat just because she's a hottie. Well, you call Campanaro and Tomkovich because the whole office is filled with hotties. So go rob a store or something, and then it'll give you an excuse to go in and see them. The phone number is 845-221-4099, 845-221-4099. Before we start off the show, I typically read the emails from the mailbag first, and Carl Froch just popped into the chat room. Yeah, he did. I'll get to that in a second, Ryan. And I'm not going to take anything away from him. I didn't predict him to win, but man, was I wrong. But before we get to that, Johnny Tapia, former world champion, is gone. Yep, they found him dead. He was 45 years old in his house on Sunday. The official time of death has not been released. The authorities apparently were at the house around 7:45 p.m. yesterday on Sunday. They don't think it was anything suspicious. They don't know what it's related to. They're doing an autopsy and everything else. Johnny Tapia. We all know a lot of his turbulent history, and he was, I just talked to him. Not too long ago when I was in Albuquerque, and he's training kids. He was training kids, and we started seeing his face popping up ringside, and he had just been announced that he was going to be attending the Hall of Fame, the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Festivities. He was on our ballot this year, missed getting into the BillyCBoxing Hall of Fame by a couple of votes. I'm shocked. I thought we'd be seeing. I would have even not been too surprised if he decided to try another comeback. But I was totally shocked to hear this. Our thoughts, condolences, and of course all of our prayers go out to Johnny Tapia's family and friends. Tragic end to a tragic guy, really. I mean, he's had a crazy life, and we'll definitely miss him. The sport will miss him, and I also want to give our condolences to the family and friends of a bantamweight contender who was just going to get his world title shot. He was scheduled to face the winner of Nonito Donaire against Jeffrey Mathabula. Thantong Kiattaweesuk was killed in a car accident over the weekend. If that wasn't tragic enough, his wife and his two nephews were also killed in the accident. It was an auto accident. Took place the other morning. There was a heavy rainstorm apparently. And Kiattaweesuk lost control of his vehicle and smashed into a tree, killing him, his wife and his two nephews. And, you say to yourself, how bad was it? This poor guy, obviously a young fighter on his way up. He loses his life. His wife loses her life. His two nephews lose their lives. And, thank God there was kind of a silver lining to this negative story. And he had two of his daughters in the car as well. And both of them are still alive. They are fighting for their lives in the hospital right now. So, but how terrible. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the family and friends of Thantong, Kiattaweesuk, and if I'm murdering his name, I sincerely apologize. So lost two fighters this past weekend. So anyway, I want to get to our mailbags. I'm all messed up over that. First and foremost, it is Memorial Day here in the United States. I want to give a shout out to my man, USS Curtis. I think Thompson. I forgot. If I'm wrong, I know he knows who I mean, and he's a veteran. He's actually was injured in the line of duty and is home. We did. He made some comments, and I kind of went back at him, and then he apologized, and I apologized, and I'm hoping he's still a good listener, or still a regular listener. So I'll just give a shout out to my man Curtis. Don't forget about the premium subscriptions to the podcast. I received several emails asking me about that. What do you get? Why do you have that when it's available all these other places? I could just watch it on YouTube or watch it on BillyCBoxing.com. The whole idea of the premium podcast is that it's a convenience for you. You can listen to it whenever you want, wherever you want, how you want. You also have access to all of our content. We make all the shows available to you, so you can go back and listen to a show which most of the other places can't. So for $15 a year, you get to dictate when you want. I think the most common reason people get it as a premium podcast is to listen to it on their drive to work or for a workout or their run or whatever. So you know what? For $15 a year, it's worth it. If you're interested in doing that, visit the website www.talkinboxing, TalkinBoxing.com. That's the easiest way. You can also get it on BillyCBoxing. So that's what the premium podcasts are all about. Oh yeah, and one other thing, you got the newest poll question is up on BillyCBoxing.com. Some people have already answered it. The question is where would you like to see this show broadcast from? Right now, we're in our luxurious Billy C studio in Lake George, New York. It's a new studio. We just built it since the hurricane destroyed the last one. But there's been some talk about possibly doing the show elsewhere, and several different locations have always popped up, and the most common ones are up on the website right now. So cast your vote, man. I'm curious to hear what you think. If you like it where it is, or maybe if you think it would be advantageous for all of us to do it somewhere else. Go cast your vote right now on www.BillyCBoxing.com. EQX is going to kick off the mail emails from the mailbag. Yeah. I got to get that right. EQX says, and we're back. What's up with all this crap, man? You guys got to get your own material. All right, that's my coined phrase. Didn't you ever hear the catchphrase? Come on, man. What do you guys fast forward the commercials? Come on, man. That's my line. And of course, he's making fun of me because Tony Treem was kind enough to try and steal my line. Now he's got it in his email. Hey, speaking of Tony Treem, on a serious note, I just want to wish his beautiful wife Kathleen a speedy recovery as she's battling an illness right now, and we all know that she's just as tough as Tony. As a matter of fact, from what I hear, she smacks him around regularly. So I'm sure that she's going to be fine. So we're going to give our thoughts out there for Kathleen Treem, Tony's beautiful wife. She's going through some stuff right now. So make sure she's in your thoughts as well. Hey, listen, I'm going to take a break. When I come back, we got the rest of the emails to read. Right now, I got to go respond in the chat room to London Ryan, which we all think is the same person because and all I'm going to say about Ryan right now, okay, he's no bandwagon guy. This guy's been jumping around for Carl Froch ever since I've known him. So hey, you got to respect the fans that go up and down with their fighters. And then they get to bask in the glory like he is right now.
If you're in upstate New York and you need a trucking company, then you need Rosselli Enterprises. Rosselli Enterprises is trucking at its finest. They have it all. Dump trucks, dump trailers, walk-in floors, flatbeds, flow boys, tankers, loaders, and a full line of roll-off containers for any job, big or small. Rosselli Enterprises is also the source for all your sand, gravel, and topsoil needs. Visit them on the web at RosselliTrucking.com or call 315-433-5115. That's 315-433-5115 and tell them Billy C sent you.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
We've got a great matchup tonight. Fighting out of the left corner is the #1 ranked contender.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I am the IDO computer. I am programmed to provide only fair and unbiased boxing rankings. This fighter is the number 15 ranked contender.
Fair and unbiased boxing rankings? That's a new concept.
Actually, it is not. The IDO has provided unbiased computerized rankings for many years.
Well, we've still got a great fight tonight, folks. In the left corner is the number 15 ranked contender.
The IBO, the champion of integrity. Learn more at IBOBoxing.com.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
As a young boy, all Billy C dreamed about was one day having his own catchphrase.
And we're back. And we're back.
One boy, one dream, one day, everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
And we're back. You see, it's my catchphrase, damn it. All you copycats. You're listening to Talking Boxing with Billy C, our radio show. It's Memorial Day. Yeah, we're working. Doing the mailbag now. And we're talking to my man Ryan in the chat room. If you're listening live, check out the chat room, www.BillyCBoxing.com. And get your comments and stuff. We'll make it part of the show. You know, it's a great way to interact with the show. So make sure you check that out, as well as getting your premium podcast subscription. Anyway, we got one from Bobby. My man Bobby says, Froch absolutely crushed Bute. Great fight, completely unexpected in the way he destroyed him. Seemed like Bute couldn't handle the power or even the speed. Where does Bute go from here? Where does Froch go from here? And does this, in fact, set up rematches with Kessler or Ward? I think with Ward it would be more of the same. It was a wide unanimous decision. Decisory. What the hell kind of word is decisory? Victory. Oh, yeah. A decisory is a combination between a unanimous decision and a victory is decisory. So, but anyway, decisory. D-E-C. No, I don't know. But he says it would be the same with unanimous decision victory, but Kessler would be an intriguing rematch because the first one was very close, and they could have it in Nottingham because the first one was in Norway. What do you think? Well, you know, I can't stand the home advantage anymore because, you know, that's the first excuse with fighters now. You know, I think, first of all, I think that the Kessler fight was kind of, I thought it was a ripoff, to tell you the truth, for Carl Froch. Listen, I'm a big Carl Froch fan. I like Carl Froch. I picked against him because I thought Bute was better. I'm going to get into the fight in a little bit, but I'll tell you what I think right now, Bobby, and also Ryan. Bute did not fight Bute's fight. Now, you could argue and say, hey, well, Froch made him not fight his fight, which could very well have been the truth. But if you've ever watched any Bute fight, and if you've never watched one, go pick any one. I was talking with my man Dax yesterday, and I said, listen, go back and watch any Lucian Bute fight, and you show me one. I don't care if it was his pro debut or his last fight. You show me one fight that he fought like the way he fought Carl Froch the other night with his hands down. The way I'm putting it is, how we say Marvelous Marvin Hagler tried to outbox a boxer when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard. Well, I think that Lucian Bute tried to out-Froch Carl Froch. And we all saw what happened. And did Carl Froch destroy Bute? Yeah, he did. As a matter of fact, I kind of had to fight kind of close going into that final round. Yeah, he did get rocked in the fourth round. I thought that it wasn't as overwhelming. I thought it was starting to develop into a good fight. A lot of controversy, in my opinion, the way it ended. However, I think that Bute's team was ready to call it a day, and that's why they didn't make a big deal of it. But I hold that thought because I'm going to get into some of the other things surrounding it. But did Froch destroy Bute? Yes. Did he beat him decisively? Is there no qualms about it? Yes. All those things. It was a great victory for Carl Froch. Where does he go from here was the question Bobby asked. First of all, they had a home-and-home agreement. So where is he going to go? He's going to go to Montreal. And he's going to go to Montreal and fight Bute if Bute wants to fight, which I think he has to take the fight because otherwise it will lose his credibility. I think the question is where does Andre Ward go? I still think it's his baseball. He's going to get the pitch. We heard that Chad Dawson is moving down in weight to fight Andre Ward. So I think this is nothing but good for Carl Froch and Lucian Bute despite his loss because he's going to get another crack at Carl Froch. And assuming, let's say that Bute wins the second match, we're going to see a third. We're going to see a third. So Carl Froch has, by winning this fight, has done something very, very good for himself. He's guaranteeing some cash is going to be coming his way. So regardless of whether he goes and fights Ward, whether he goes and fights Dawson, whether he fights whoever, he's going to fight Bute again, and he's going to make some more money. So, you know what? Froch is no spring chicken. What is he, 34, 35 years old? So, he was on his farewell tour anyway, and he looked really good. I think we're going to see Froch fight Bute again, and then, we'll have to see what the outcome of the other ones is. But thanks for the email, Bobby. Big aback. Says, Calzaghe is the only time we agree that a fighter is overrated. But no way in hell was Larry Holmes overrated. Calling Sergio overrated is like calling Aaron Pryor overrated. He's 37 and small in the division. Gotta love exciting fighters with their own ring identity and unique style like Sergio and Pryor, even if they are not well-rounded like boring Calzaghe and the Klitschko brothers. Biggerback. Here's the thing, man. First of all, yes, Joe Calzaghe, in my opinion, was extremely overrated. I admit that I'm the only person on the planet that thought Larry Holmes was overrated. Now, I don't know how old you are, Biggerback. I'm sorry, Biggerback. But I watched Larry Holmes fight. And every time he was on the tube that I watched, I never saw him live, but every time I watched him on television, he annoyed the crap out of me. His style was just, it just was, to me, maybe because I also got to see some great fights with Ali and forget Ali, all the rest of the great heavyweights in that division. And Larry Holmes, unfortunately, had to come and clean that division up. and then had to unfortunately face Mike Tyson. But the thing about Larry Holmes, which I didn't like, I guess maybe that's what caused me, and maybe it's a trend that follows me today, is his mouth. He cut up on Paisan, Rocky Marciano. He was always crying for respect and everything else, just like Lennox Lewis. And I just traditionally have went against fighters that stand in front of a microphone and tell everyone how they don't get respect and this and that. When boxing, out of all the sports, out of all the professional sports, boxing is the easiest to get respect if you continue to win and everything else. Now, case in point with Larry Holmes, with the exception of my own opinion, Larry Holmes gets tons of respect today. I've asked every great fighter that I've ever talked to, what's your thoughts of Larry Holmes? They all say the same thing. He's a great fighter, one of the best, Hall of Famer, everything. He gets all the accolades from everyone, except for me. Now, he got me all, Bigger Buck got me all going with Joe Calzaghe. Joe Calzaghe, in my opinion, was one of the most overrated fighters in the sport. Now, when you look at his record, his whole accomplishment, he started his career in 1993, and his last fight was in 2008 against Roy Jones Jr. Never was beaten. So I give him a lot of credit. Is he going to be a Hall of Famer? He's going to get right in the Hall of Fame. He's 46. He finished his career 46-0 with 32 knockouts. He held on to the World Super Middleweight title from 1997 all the way up to 2008. 11 years. I'll save you the trouble of taking off your shoes and socks. It's 11 years, and it's pretty. It's definitely impressive that you fought anyone for 11 years and continued to stay undefeated. I give him all that credit in the world. However, I take a look at his resume, and when you look at all of those defenses over those 11 years, and again, we can only compare fighters with who they fought during their era. That's my problem with Joe Calzaghe. He did have other fighters to fight during his era that he chose not to. When he first won his title, he fought a fading Chris Eubank and won his title. His next, and that was in 1997. He did beat Robin Reed in 1999, which Robin Reed, is still fighting, but he was a guy that was a quality fighter. You got to go. He did fight Omar Shika in 2000 when Omar Shika was 20-1. Mario Vite, who was 30-0, never. He was another guy that didn't leave Europe too much. So I mean, all those guys. Charles Brewer was marginal. You look and you see the same types of records. Not that records mean anything, but the same types of fighters. Tucker Pudwell, Miguel Angel Dominguez, Will McIntyre, Evans Ashira. All those guys. They had decent records, but they weren't world class. His first world class fighter after, like young world class fighter, not a faded Chris Eubank or anything else. First didn't come until 2006, and that's when he started to try to step it up a bit. I guess he fought Jeff Lacey. Now, you can't judge Jeff Lacey on how we look at him today, but at the time, in 2006, he was undefeated. He did have a piece of the titles, and Joe Calzaghe beat him in 12. He followed that up with a tough guy who's, faded since then in Seiko Bika. The Peter Manfredo fight, that was a layup fight for him. Miguel Kessler fight, that whole fight, that was against a guy that was quality. We can't take anything away from there. Bernard Hopkins, many people think he lost that fight. Bernard Hopkins was a washed-up fighter then. I don't care that he won a title and everything. I don't care that he's still fighting. I thought he was done then in 2008. And he finished his career with 154-year-old Roy Jones Jr. and couldn't stop him. Listen, whatever you want to think of Joe Calzaghe, I personally think he's overrated. Now, Bigger Back compares Aaron Pryor with Sergio Martinez. I don't know where that comes from. What I was saying about Sergio Martinez is I think that he was overrated. When you take a look at Aaron Pryor, And you see the fighters that Aaron Pryor fought. You could argue that he did have an easy time of it. When he won his first world title, he fought Antonio Cervantes, who was 89-10. He follows that up with Danny Myers, Gatan Hart, Lennox Blackmore, DeJohn Johnson, Miguel Montoya, Akio Kamada. I mean, these are all marginal but good fighters at the time. And then he steps in with, which made him famous, which really, and he had already been a world titleist since the Cervantes fight. But when he fought Alexis Arguello and stopped him in the 14th round, that put him on the map. Arguello was 72-5 at the time. Aaron Pryor followed that up with a win over Sang-Hun Kim, who was 41-3. Then he gets the rematch with Alexis Arguello, and again knocks out Arguello. That's pretty much what put him into the Hall of Fame. He retired after he beat by a split decision Gary Hinton. He felt his skills had eroded. Gary Hinton was 23-2-1. He stayed away from the ring a couple of years, came back in 1987, lost to Bobby Joe Young by a 7th-round knockout. Now, this was his only loss and his only stoppage loss of his whole career. Continued his career with 3 more wins, all by knockout, and realized that he hung him up. He finished his career 39 wins, 35 coming by knockout, 1 stoppage, 218 rounds as a pro, Hall of Fame at a whole 9. And Bigaback compares him with Sergio Martinez. Now, hold that thought, because I don't know where that comes from.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe, on the web and radio.
He would scoff at the stretch of that man, I would think.
You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. from upstate New York in the good old US of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man. www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com, and tell them Billy C sent ya.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C., the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C, damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C. Crap.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. My fellow Americans, good evening. Welcome back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It's great to be here discussing the sweet science with everybody. I love boxing. I love talking boxing. It's what I do.
Bill.
Wait, what?
Bill.
Why are you interrupting me? What?
Wrong.
What's
wrong,
the problem?
Billy C.
I did not have...
We're gonna have to ask
wrong
you.
speech. What do you mean wrong, Billy C? What's going on here? Fine, I'll go. I just wanted to talk some boxing on TPSradio.net. That's all I wanted to do. I don't need your damn show. I'll get my own talking wrestling with the other Billy C. Yeah, that sounds good. I've always been a Hulkamaniac anyway.
Broadcasting live, brother. Welcome back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. on the mighty TPSradio.net, brother. What you gonna do, brother?
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with BillyC radio show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. That's right. I want to welcome the Fight Now audience just joining us like they do every day from 6 to 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. If you don't have Fight Now on your sports channel lineup, then you need to call your local television provider, whether it's satellite or cable, and tell them that you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports channel lineup. It's that simple. Ask for it, and you shall receive. We're going to get to the fights here in a second. I'm just finishing up some emails. Bigger Buck says he thinks that Sergio Martinez is very similar to Aaron Pryor, and I don't see why. Although Aaron Pryor, his claim to fame was the Alexis Arguello fight, he still displayed, a lot of talent in the ring. Very, very, I think, solid fighter. Technically sound and everything else. If drugs didn't enter his life, I think he would have had a much longer successful career. I mean, it was amazing. But nonetheless, when I look at Sergio Martinez, I see a late bloomer. There's no question about that. But when do you see his first quality fight? I mean, he started in 1997, and in my opinion, he picked up some titles. The IBO's junior middleweight title in 2003, and he picked up some other titles against really no one. To be honest with you, his first tough fight, when I look at his resume, it didn't come until 2007 when he fought Saul Roman at the time, and he stopped him. He also fought a kid named Russell Jordan. Now, you might look at Russell Jordan's record at 14-4 in 2007 and laugh and say, "What are you talking about?" But I know Russell Jordan. He was a very tough guy to fight, and so I give Sergio credit for him. Archak Taramikostan, which I never could pronounce his name. He actually fought on one of my cards. He beat him, so I give him credit for those two fights. And then, of course, Alex Buima fought him. Kermit Cintron. I mean, from 2008 up to the present, he fought his fights, and that's when he busted onto the scene. Now, I'm not taking anything away from him from there. Alex Buima, Kermit Cintron, and the Paul Williams fight. I mean, he beat Buima. He lost a majority decision against Cintron. A lot of people question that. He lost a majority decision against Paul Williams. A lot of people question that. And he comes back and beats Kelly Pavlik, avenges Paul Williams. At the top of his career. And I also give him a lot of credit for Sergey Dinzenzurik's fight. Dinzenzurik, although he was coming up in weight, he was still an undefeated fighter. Many people thought that he was going to give Martinez some trouble, and Martinez comes out on top. And then he fights his last two fights, which were stay busy fights, as he's waiting around. So you go from this Dinzurik fight of March of 2011, and fast forward us right now. We're about to hit June of 2012. And since that Dinzenzurik fight, he fought Darren Barker and Matthew Macklin. And these two fights, they're marginal opposition. And he's fighting, he's waiting for that big payday against either Floyd or Manny. And, to say that he was similar to Alexis Arguello, to Alexis Arguello's main guy, Aaron Pryor, I just don't see it. I'm sorry, man, but it's not that I don't like Sergio Martinez. I do. I just think, I think that he. I guess I think he's overrated. I guess I'm putting a lot of emphasis in the last two fights. It just maybe he needs another challenge. Maybe when he had the Kelly Pavliks and the Paul Williams, he felt challenged, and maybe that's. What we didn't see in his last two fights. I don't know, man. Bigger back. We agree more than you think. I'm not sure about that. But anyway, Alex T says, Marty's comment about Tommy Morrison was spot on. Now, this is about the ABC. Marty said something along the lines of the ABC Boxing Commission should clean their own house before they start pointing fingers. If you didn't listen to the show last week or several shows, we were talking about Greg Serb, who's the athletic commissioner, I guess, or the head of the Pennsylvania State Athletic Commission. He's also a member, the vice president, second in charge of the ABC Boxing Commission, which oversees. It's a voluntary organization that boxing commissions here in the United States join. They oversee them. They all respect each other's suspensions, blah, blah, blah. And Greg Serb went out into the public through the media, which I can't stand when they do that, but he did it through the media and criticized German Boxing Commission for letting Oliver McCall fight when he was on a indefinite suspension by Mohegan Sun. Marty Mulcahy was on Friday and said, I asked him his thoughts on it, and he said the ABC should worry about their own house first, and he threw in the Tommy Morrison, and he said, hey, didn't Tommy Morrison fight when the ABC was in control, so to speak? Didn't he fight with AIDS on national television? And he cited a possible ESPN fight. I don't recall the fight on television. I know that he fought several times since he was diagnosed with AIDS here in the States. So, you know what? I agreed with Marty, and so does Alex T. And you know, this whole situation is bugging the crap out of me. And I look. Now, remember, my big hang-up with the Greg Serb thing is that Greg Serb is criticizing the German Boxing Commission for which actually is Bund Deutscher Boxing. We say the BDB, but because none of us can speak German, at least I can't, and most people refer to it as the Boxing Commission, the boxing German Boxing Commission, GBC, which it's actually BDB, but nonetheless, Serb was criticizing him, the commission, which is Thomas Putz, for allowing Oliver McCall to fight when he was on suspension. And Putz responded and said, what are you talking about? We got a letter saying that he was in good standing from Florida. And Serb basically made fun of him for not, and literally made fun because he said, just show me the Fight Facts, which is a play on a commercial, show me the Carfax. And Fight Facts is an independently owned company that all boxing commissions are actually forced to use. They have to pay for the faxes and everything else. And Marty said something else that caught my attention. He said, you know, BoxRec has made Fight Facts obsolete. Those were Marty Mulcahy from Max Boxing's exact words. And, you know, I said to myself, you know, Marty, and as I'm doing this, I'm saying, Marty, you know, yeah, it shows the records, but, you know, it really didn't show the suspensions and everything else. Well, guess what? It does show the suspensions. Now, it shows the suspensions. It has a suspension list, but it kind of says on BoxRec that it's for testing purposes only, that this date is for testing purposes only. But for kicks, for kicks, I was going to say something else, for something and giggles, but for kicks, I punched it up and punched up Oliver McCall's name, and I got his whole history. I got his whole history of suspensions. And here's the thing. He was first suspended, just for kicks, I'm going to just give this to you, in 1997 after the Crybaby incident. Remember when he was crying and he walked away from Lennox Lewis, who was getting his world title shot, and he was crying. Now, the Nevada State Athletic Commission put him on indefinite suspension after that. He was cleared. That took place in February of 1997. He was cleared and fought by November 4th, 1997. He got his evaluation, so Nevada lifts the suspension. In 2000, he was put on suspension by the Mississippi State Athletic Commission for 6 days. For 6 days. And that was cleared, and then he fought again in August of 2011 and won that fight. He again gets on suspension in 2009. Why? Because he sustained a serious cut. He was on suspension for 46 days. The Nevada State Athletic Commission once again clears him for that. In 2011, he was put on indefinite suspension by the Florida State Boxing Commission, okay? But it was clear. Now, I don't know what it was for. I don't know if it was a cut or anything else. It does not specify why he was put on indefinite suspension in March of 2011. But guess what? It was lifted by August 20th in 2011, and he fought and he won on 2011. Now, here's where it gets confusing. In October, of August of 2011, when he fought on that fight, so when Florida lifted the suspension, he was allowed to fight in Texas. And he fought in Texas in 2011 against Damian Wills. And Damian Wills, he beat Damian Wills. He won a 10-round decision. Apparently, he sustained a cut. He was put on suspension for 31 days. That was lifted on September 20th in 2011, which gave him the opportunity to fight. Here's where it gets kind of crazy. That was August 20th, 2011. On or around someday around November 1st, I guess, around in 2011, he was scheduled to fight Moritz Wach at the Mohegan Sun Casino. For some reason, they failed him. He did not pass a medical examination by the Mohegan Sun Casino. And as a result, Jason Gavrin, if you recall, stepped in and fought Moritz Wach and was knocked out in the 6th round. Now, just FYI, Gavrin, who going into that fight, who was approved by the Mohegan Sun, had a record of 21 wins, 10 coming by knockout, 8 losses where he was stopped twice, and 4 draws. And by the way, put a little asterisk next to that, because since that fight, he's lost 2 more times, stopped 2 more times. His record now stands at 21-10-4. And they felt that, Oliver McCall wasn't a good opponent, but yet Jason Gavrin was. Oliver McCall had never been stopped. The only TKO on his record was when he turned his back and walked away from Lennox Lewis. So I don't know why. I want to know why the Mohegan Sun put him on suspension. That's number one. Number two, how can a sanctioning body or not a sanctioning body, a commission put a fighter on indefinite suspension when they didn't fight? If they fail the medical, they could say, we're not letting him fight in our state. We're not letting him fight under our jurisdiction because he failed the medicals. That's it. It's somebody else's problem. Let him go under another medical. Maybe they misread it. Maybe they interpreted it wrong. But no, Mohegan Sun claims that they put him on indefinite suspension, and that's where all of this came from. That's where all of this came from. So Greg Serb, who's in cahoots with Mike Mazzulli, who's in charge of Mohegan Sun, that's what prompted all of this, because Germany decided to let him fight. And when you look at Oliver McCall's record, and by the way, Marty's not wrong about box record, because you can find out everything on there, which, we know. Here's Oliver McCall. The negative about Oliver McCall is his age, 47. Is that why the Mohegan Sun Commission put him on suspension? Because of his age? Listen, that's age discrimination for any other job in the United States. So where does Mohegan? Oh, that's right. They're a Native American tribe, so they get to have their own rules. Fine. So he's not allowed to fight there. Maybe he's not allowed to fight in New York. Maybe he's not allowed to fight in Nevada. But there's other states that don't mind if somebody's older, and they still pass their tests. So where does the indefinite suspension come from? It pisses me off. And I don't know. I want to know what took place on August 20th in 2011, which was the last fight that Oliver McCall had prior to the German fight, that prompted him to go down. Here's a guy that had passed all of these medical examinations all the way up until after the fight. Remember, he passed the medicals for the state of Texas and fought and won against Damian Wills on August 20th in 2011. So I'm just something doesn't make sense to me, and I can't help but get pissed off because of the fact that, to me, it sounds like it's a deal between the ABC and Fight Facts, and that's what it's over. Not the safety of the fighter. If you're going to look out for the safety of the fighter, that's what we want. A commission, a governing body. That's what we want them to do. Look out for the safety of the fighters. But show me where Oliver McCall has been deemed unfit to fight. That's my hang-up. Show us, tell us. Not once has it been mentioned why Mohegan Sun Boxing Commission, at least according to Greg Serb, has put Oliver McCall on indefinite suspension. I want to know why. Is that not allowed to be told to us? Are we not allowed to know what that answer is? I mean, you get a fighter like this, and then Serb criticizes the German Boxing Commission for calling the state in which Oliver McCall's federal ID is issued. And if anybody should know about their fighters, whoever's in charge of their IDs, if in all Florida had to do was say, oh, he's on suspension from Mohegan and figure it out. Greg Serb is saying, oh, that's not their problem. That's the promoter's problem. I think a problem with boxing is people like Greg Serb who have ulterior motives. It seems to me that maybe he bought some stock in Fight Facts. I don't know. But I don't think that it's fair. And if he's got a medical condition that no one else knows about except Mohegan Sun, well, unfortunately, I think we need to know about that now. So, anyway, that just irks me because it is the fight. It's over Fight Facts. That's what it's over. But anyway, all right, speaking of fights, let's talk about the fights that took place this weekend, man. Let's just go through the ones before we get to the main one. Ji-Hoon Kim, the Volcano, he improved to 24 wins, 7 losses, 18 combat knockout with a 10-round unanimous decision against Alisher Ali Rahimov. And Rahimov drops his first fight of his career. He's 23 wins now, 1 loss, 12 of his wins coming by knockout. Great fight. It was nonstop action. I thought, I enjoyed every minute of every round of this fight. The only thing I didn't figure out is why, some of the one judge had it so one-sided, 97-93 in favor of Ji-Hoon Kim. I thought another judge had it 98-92, and the third had it 96-94. I had to tell you the truth. I thought that Kim won it. I thought that he landed more shots. I felt that Rahimov was the guy that was coming in and getting hit a lot. I agree with the 97-93 score. The one I thought was a little crazy was the 96-94. I'm looking at my notes here, and I had it written wrong. But the 96-94 score must have been a relative Rahimov because he didn't land enough punches, in my opinion. He did have his moments, but not enough. 97-93 is the way I agree with that score. So Kim is moving on, but he's not really improving much. He looks the same. He looks the same. Vicious Vince Thompson. Am I the only one that sees no sign of viciousness in Vicious Vince Thompson? Joel Godfrey, he was on the Contender Series at one point. I think he hasn't won since. He's got a record now, 14 wins and 7 losses. So, I don't know, 80-72 twice, 78-74 with the way the judges saw it. And Leon Spinks numero tres makes it 2 in a row. 2 wins now, 2 knockouts after he stopped Casey Crane in the second round of a scheduled 4-round welterweight fight. So congratulations to Leon numero tres. Cleotis Pendarvis won a 12-round unanimous decision over Robert Frankel. His record is now 15 wins, 3 losses, and 2 draws. 5 of his wins coming by knockout. Frankel drops to 30 wins, 12 losses, and a draw. The way the judges saw it, 117-111, 118-110, 119-109, all in favor of Pendarvis. Frez Oquendo, he improved to 34 wins, 7 losses, 22 coming by knockouts when he knocked out, stopped Joey Minnesota Ice Abel. Come on, man. We all know Minnesota Ice is melted. The only time he looks good is when he's fighting a chump from his local area. Every time he stepped up his level of opposition, he lost. That's 6 times now. So I don't know. I don't know where that really leaves Frez, but I'm sure he's going to get a shot somewhere. Speaking of Alan McCall, his son, Elijah, he He won by stopping Stan Allen at 2 minutes and 26 seconds of the 6th round on the undercard of the Oquendo fight. Now, here we go. Oh, by the way, don't forget to check out Rick Gagne. Rick Gagne's a new writer for us. He's got some coverage of the Kim fight, and Dax Khan, of course, you all know him. He's got a piece too, so you can check that out up on BillyCBoxing.com. And here we go. Froch, did he win? Did anybody see that? Carl Froch knocks out Lucian Bute in the 5th round. I was wrong. I picked Lucian Bute. I, like many others, felt that Carl Froch has seen better days. Listen, what does this win mean for Carl Froch? If I said that this got him into the Hall of Fame, do you think I'm over exaggerating a little bit, or what? I mean, you can't argue this guy's resume. There can't be anyone on the planet that follows boxing and can look at Carl Froch and see who this guy has fought throughout his career. I was just making a comment about Joe Calzaghe and how I think Joe Calzaghe is overrated. I don't care if Carl Froch lost this fight against Bute. I don't care if he loses his next 5 fights in a row, if he continues for 5 more fights. I still think that the guy deserves his place in the Hall only because of the level of opposition. He has never ducked anyone. He has traveled into other people's backyards. Granted, he fought this past weekend in his own backyard. But, I mean, you can't criticize him for anything. I criticize him for one thing, his style of fighting. He fights like he thinks he's Roy Jones Jr. He fights just like Roy Jones Jr. did. He does not have the hand speed that Roy Jones Jr. did. He does not have the foot speed and maneuverability that Roy Jones Jr. did. But you know what? This guy keeps winning, and he goes against it. And, it goes against, what you say. You look at a guy that's technically sound. You look at a guy, I hate to mention his name, but Mayweather. He's technically sound. He's a guy that has a great defense. If you looked in a textbook, how to throw a jab or something like that, the way Floyd throws his jabs, the way he moves, it's all textbook, right? Carl Froch is not in that book. He's not in the textbook. He doesn't do what you're supposed to do. He keeps his hands down. He does things. He does little subtle things that win fights for him. He's got a granite jaw. Nobody's going to hurt this guy. Why did Bute lose? Everybody's saying how Carl Froch brutalized him. He destroyed him. He did this. He did that. All of that may be true. But why did Lucian Bute lose, in my opinion? Was Carl Froch that much better than Bute? I don't think so. I think Saturday night he was. And I think that maybe Carl Froch beats Bute every time he fights him. So maybe he's better fighter than Bute. But he's not a better... I don't think his style is better than Bute's. Bute's style is a guy that is technically sound. However, Lucian Bute was doing his Carl Froch impression on Saturday night, in my opinion. I saw Lucian Bute with his hands down. I saw Lucian Bute trying to out-Froch Carl Froch, and he couldn't. And I think that he underestimated Carl Froch's chin, and he did land a couple of solid shots that did not seem to faze Carl Froch. I did not see Bute go to the body, which is his patented. That's how he breaks fighters down. I think Dax and I were talking about this fight yesterday, and I recall one body shot that did land flush. I didn't see him get in there close. I saw him trying to do the same types of stuff that Froch did, and Froch was the better fighter. Froch was the better fighter. Now, what about the controversy? Is there a controversy? Is there a controversy in this fight? Here's what I saw. And I'm talking about the stoppage. Here's what I saw. I saw Bute getting pummeled against the ropes. I saw an uppercut put Bute in some serious trouble. But I saw Bute come back and put his hands up, and he seemingly, let me rephrase it, before the uppercut, Bute seemed like he was in trouble against the ropes. I saw Bute lift his hands up seemingly in control, moving his head a little bit, not in control of that particular onslaught because Carl Froch was, but I mean in control of his faculties. He puts his hands up, he started moving his head a little bit, and then Carl Froch unleashed an uppercut, followed by a barrage of punches that put Bute in Dream Street. There's no question about it. The ropes held him up, everything else. Now, here's where the confusion and where the problem lies. The referee put his hands up. Now, that is a signal that he's stopping the fight. He's stopping the fight. The referee put his hands up. That's a signal that he's stopping the fight. Hold that thought.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. now has official merchandise available on TalkinBoxing.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and mugs. And yes, even undergarments. Talkin' Boxing apparel is the perfect gift for the boxing fan in your life. Log on to www.talkinboxing.com. That's TalkinBoxing.com and place your order today.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't...
You beat Joe Louis's ass.
Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought.
Huh?
What? We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
As Billy C. sits here in the multi-million-dollar Talkin' Boxing studios, sipping a fine wine before you're even out of bed, you should be thinking, damn, I wish I had a mustache like his. It's the Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. show. He's Billy C., and you're not. Sucks to be you.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C. first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C. radio show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. If you don't have it, you're a fool. You got to call your local television provider, whether it's cable or satellite dish. And you got to tell them, I want the Fight Now channel. Yeah, I want the Fight Now channel right now. For all the information about Fight Now, visit their website, www.fightnow.com. And speaking of now, I'm talking about the Carl Froch fight. And, so here's a referee, right? He sees Bute in all kinds of trouble. And let's be real. I don't care how much of a fan you are. I'm a self-admitted fan of Bute. I know him. I know his team. I've gotten to see several of his fights up in Montreal ringside. So I got to admit I'm a fan of his. But don't get me wrong. I love Carl Froch and his girlfriend. But, man, did she look hot? Did she? The version of the show I saw, I got to see her after the fight, in the ring. And I just wish I was part of that entourage because every one of them got a really big hug. I mean, I was kind of laughing at all the guys that were, taking advantage of the hug, like holding her own just a little closer, just a little longer, just a little tighter. I was like, oh, God, she looked good. But anyway, get back to the fight. Get back to the referee. Oh, yeah, right. The referee. He clearly signaled a wave off. he did the wave. He did the wave, right? But then he starts counting. And, you know, he actually, if you watch the clip, he waved it. And then I think he thought, and I think his intent was he was telling Carl, wait a minute, I'm counting. And he starts to count. He actually even looks over at the timekeeper and you know, makes sure that gets picked up. They had started to count. He's continuing to count. Meanwhile, Eddie Hearn, the promoter, is already lifting up Froch. He's in the ring. And you can see footage, the video, you can see clearly that he's still counting, and Team Froch is in the ring, lifting him up. He looks over his shoulder, the referee, looks over his shoulder and waves off the fight at 1 minute and 5 seconds of the fifth round. So, my question is that cool? Is that a problem? Now, let's keep another thing in mind. Right then, at that time, Team Bute was not arguing about the stoppage. As a matter of fact, my friend Bob Miller works his corner. He's the cut man. And between him and Stéphane Laroche, who's the trainer, they both just were shaking their head at Bute, telling him it's over. We're not letting it go on. They were going to stop the fight. But does that matter? What's happened with the frickin' referees? You know, we got guys that are fighting with the mic. Give me that mic. I'm fair, but I'm firm. I'm fair, but I'm firm. You know, we have, somebody was telling me, somebody said something the other day that said, I'm fair, but I'm stern, or something like that. You know, trying to coin their own phrase, their phrase. Yeah. Catchphrase. Yeah. We're back. Hey, they better not say that. But, you know, I mean, these guys, all these things. You know, a referee, man, it's not about them. It's not, you know, I was critical of Art McCanty Jr. not too long ago. And, you know, I had a conversation with him. Now, yes, you know, sometimes he makes it about him. But you know what? You know, he started with this, let's go toe-to-toe. He started with that. But he realized it was a stupid thing. Do you know that the man has never said that again? You know, I give Art McCanty Jr. credit for that. You know, Steve Smoger, does he say anything? Do you notice him? Okay, granted, he's a small guy with no neck. But still, do you see him during the fights? No. You know why? Because he's a good referee. You know, the referees I want to watch are the ones I don't see. The ones that are protecting fighters that know the rules. You know, I don't want to see a referee that is watching a fight. Now, in this particular case, you know, do we disqualify Carl Froch's team for jumping in the ring when they weren't supposed to? You know, when Eddie Hearn jumped in the ring, there's a shot of that corner, and the rest of the corner, they stayed in the corner. They didn't get in the ring because of, in lieu of what has happened recently with disqualifications and everything else. You know, but then they jumped in, and the count wasn't done. You know, so, you know, it doesn't change anything, in my opinion. But it still wasn't right. You know, Carl Froch won the fight. He dominated the fight. He knocked out Bute. End of story. But you know what? Would you have wanted... I mean, you know what we could have conceivably been talking about today? We could have conceivably been talking about a disqualification of Carl Froch because Eddie Hearn jumped into the ring and then followed by the rest of his team prior to the ending of the official ending of the bout. And we could conceivably be talking about a disqualification today, even though Carl Froch knocked out Lucian Bute. We could be talking about a disqualification today, but we're not. You know, and it comes back to the simple thing that what has happened to the quality of our referees. And you know what? We might as well sprinkle in the judges, too, because they've been pretty terrible, too, lately. You know, we talk about blast from the past and you know, how bad referees were back in the day. I mean, bringing pistols in the ring and everything else. But we've changed. You know, they didn't have the luxury us as fans have today with replays and everything else. Well, come on, man. Come on. You can't have a referee that does not know what to do. Listen, referee's job is to make sure that they know what's going on at every second of every round. That's their job. Are you telling me that this guy got so caught up that he didn't realize what he's doing? If you're going to wave off a fight, he waves it off, wave it off. You don't start your count. You grab and hold the fighter or keep him from falling or keep him from further injuring himself or whatever. You don't wave it off and then start a count. That's like an umpire in baseball that calls a strike and then says, no, that was a ball. That was a ball. Of course referees are going to make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes. But they can't make a mistake like that. They can make a mistake with a headbutt that was a punch or something like that. They can do that kind of thing. But we got somebody in the background here. She's not too good looking. But anyway, I just think that the referee dropped the ball a little bit. But nonetheless, Carl Froch, great performance. Hey, got to give him credit. I'm looking forward to a rematch. And I'll tell you what, Carl Froch dominates Bute again. Bute's going to lose a lot of credibility. A lot of people already thought he was overrated, didn't fight, some tough opposition or what have you. But hey, I enjoyed it. I just didn't like the end. I thought it was. I actually had, to be honest with you, I had the fight even going into the fourth round, going into the final round, the fifth round. After 4, I had the fight even. So I don't know, man. The undercard, there was some decent fights on the undercard. As a matter of fact, we had bantamweights. Carl Frampton, Peter's brother, he improved to 14-0 with 9 knockouts when he won a 12-round decision over Raul Morales, who dropped to 16-1-1. He, in the process, he claimed an IBF title. 120-108, 119-109 twice was the way the judges saw that one. Junior welterweight Pierre Oliver Cody improved to 19-0 with 13 knockouts when he stopped Mark Lloyd in the 5th round. Lloyd drops to 15 wins, 6 losses, and 3 of his wins come by knockout. Lloyd hit the canvas not once but twice, and then the referee waved it off. 2 minutes and 45 seconds of round 5. In the junior middleweight division, Eric Ochink improved to 10-1 with 3 knockouts when he won a unanimous decision over A.A. Lau, who dropped to 10 wins, 7 losses, and a draw. 100-90, 99-91, 98-92, all in favor of Eric Ochink. Also on the undercard, we had middleweight John Ryder keeping his record intact, his undefeated record when he won an 8-round decision over Luke Robinson. He's now 11-0 with 6 knockouts. Robinson drops to 8-3-1. Welterweight Kieran Farrell won a unanimous decision over Jason Nesbitt to improve to 12-0 in the light welterweight, junior welterweight division. Scott Cardell defeated Ida Akukuku by a third for his third win via decision. And a couple of middleweight fights. Ryan Aston stopped Paul Samuels in the 5th round to improve to 7-0. And middleweight Adian Amwar defeated Terry Carruthers. Amwar's record is now 26-2. So that wraps up that card, I should say. In other action on Saturday night, Audley Harrison improved to 28-5 with 21 knockouts. He stopped Ali Adams, who dropped to 13-4 with a draw in their heavyweight fight that took place in England at the Brentwood Center. I don't know if you got a chance to see this one. I don't know if there was any television or anything on it, but I happened to. My man Kieran sent me a clip, actually the whole fight on this that someone apparently took, from their phone, video footage of this, and I'm choking on my. There's nothing worse than a crappy video. I would rather. London Ryan is saying that he gave Bute the second round. I know you can see that fight, but I was talking about the Harrison fight. I did see it, and I don't know if anybody else has seen this video that's up on this fight, but here you got a guy who clearly was a fan of Ali Adams. He's in the corner of Ali Adams, and he's filming this fight, and we're watching this fight the whole time until the fourth round, when he decides to start filming the ceiling. And we got some great shots of the lights and the ropes and from what it must look like when you're looking way up. And then we got to see the referee jump in and start counting. Then we got to see somewhat of a barrage of shots, and Ali Adams done. And that was the end of that. So, here we see this whole fight, except the end, which kind of sucked. So, I wish that I saw the actual punch, but I didn't. So if London's telling me he's got some video, if you got that, send me a link to. I'm just curious to see that last round. I'm curious to see round 4. That's it, because I saw the rest. But Jesus Soto Carras. Yeah, he doesn't do anything easy. This guy never, ever, ever has an easy fight. And his fight this past weekend wasn't easy either. Sid El Harak and Jesus Soto Carras battled in Arizona. And Carras ended up on top with a split decision win. One judge had El Harak winning 97-93. And the other two judges had it 97-93 and 96-94 in favor of Carras. So he improves to 25 wins, 7 losses, and 16 of his wins coming by knockout. He does have 3 draws. On the undercard, welterweight Jose Benavidez improved to 15-0 with a 6-round decision over Josh Socha, who drops to 10-3. You see, I don't mind that fight. I don't mind that matchup. That sounds like a good matchup, even though it was a one-sided fight. 60-54 twice, 59-55, all in favor of Benavidez, who was coming back from an injury. Some other fights on Saturday. Sergio Thompson improved to 23-2 with 21 knockouts when he stopped Juan Raymond Solis to claim a silver belt. We all know what crap organization that is from. The time was 2 minutes and 34 seconds of round 5. Like I said, Thompson improves to 23-2 with 21 knockouts, and Juan Raymond Solis drops to 17-6 with 6 knockouts. On the undercard, super lightweight ranked contender Pablo Cesar Cano improved to 24 wins, a loss, and a draw when he fought and stopped Fidel Monterosa in the 9th round with a knockout. Monterosa drops to, I'm doing my impression of that guy from ESPN, Monterosa, 29-6 now with 23 knockouts. And one other fight on that card, a guy that I am just, everybody criticizes DeAndre, what's his name? Demetrius Andrade. I'm sorry. I went blank here for a minute. I had one of those blonde moments. If I could actually see it, I'd play it, but I'm not. But everybody criticizes Demetrius Andrade for his kind of weak road to where he is today. But no one comes close to Deontay Wilder, man. He's 22-0 with 22 knockouts now. After he knocked out, on paper, his best opponent to date in Jess Altmans. Altmans is now 10-3 with 7 knockouts. But the notes that I see, and I did not see this fight, so I got to somehow get a clip of it. It was the first round. He did drop Altmans at 26 seconds of the first round, and the referee ran in and waved it off. And Altmans, from what I hear, was up and ready to fight in a second, not even a second after he hit the canvas. You know, he was on his feet within 3 seconds. You know, so it's like it was a flash knockdown, but yet the hometown referee for Deontay Wilder waved it off to make Wilder 22-0 with 22 knockouts. How do we even know how good this guy is? He hasn't fought one quality opponent, and he's too small, by the way, for the heavyweight division. Not height-wise, body-wise. Those kinds of fighters that are being built up like that really make me sick. Welterweight Fred Tukes went down to the land down under on Saturday, expecting to lose, maybe. I don't know. But he didn't. He came up with the win, unanimous decision win. He is now 11 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. He beat Alex Atong, who drops to 8-15 with 3 knockouts. It was an 8-round fight. Tukes is 39 years old and won by scores of 76-75, 78-73, 76-75. So this was the second time that Tukes fought in Australia. We had a couple of nicknamers, and I remember we had a trivia question one time. Who fought a babyface, whatever, all these things. Well, we had David the Destroyer Lopez fighting Julio Cesar Babyface Garcia. So we had a Destroyer fighting a Babyface. And if I asked you who would win, the Destroyer or Babyface, who won? The Destroyer won. David the Destroyer Lopez, 41-13 now when he won a 10-round decision, unanimous decision, over Julio Cesar Babyface Garcia, who drops to 45-6. We had a ranked fighter in Esquivel Maderina, improved to 17-0 when he won a unanimous decision over Ruben Acosta in their fight, 120-104 twice. I'm sorry, 120-104 once and 119-105 twice was the way the judges saw that one in the rematch. There was another fight in Nicaragua over the weekend. And this has got me going with the referees. You know, we see this thing with the Bute and, all right, let me rephrase that, with the Carl Froch and Lucian Bute fight this past weekend. You know, arguably you could say that the referee lost control by waving it off, then starting a count, and then whatever. Like I said, it wouldn't have made a difference. I think Bute was going to I think Froch was knocking out Bute anyway, but nonetheless. But how about this one? Two-time world champion Rosendo Alvarez has been he's been off for a while, and he made a comeback, and he's trying to make a comeback. He's 42 years old, and he steps into the ring against a young fight, Jean Samson, who's was 22 years old, and was in Nicaragua, and Jean Samson had a record of 11-1 going into this fight with 7 knockouts, and Alvarez was attempting to, start his comeback and everything else. And, they start fighting. And, it was very early in the fight. And next thing you know, a referee, Onfrey Ramirez, disqualifies Alvarez. Why? Because they were arguing amongst themselves during the fight. And the reason that he gave, because nothing happened in the fight. The reason that referee Ramirez disqualified Alvarez is he said, I disqualified Alvarez because of disrespect after 4 rounds. The judges up to that point, all 3 judges were in favor at that point of Alvarez. 40-37, 39, 37, 39, 38. That's the way it was. He had been out of the ring for 6 years. His last fight was against Arce. He gets in the ring. He's beating the 22-year-old Samson, after 4 rounds, exchanging words with the referee, and the referee decides he's had it, pulls a baseball umpire act, and DQs this guy. What do you think of that, man? What do you think of that? I mean, maybe if he's what's happening with the referees, man? It's not about them. This guy shouldn't have DQ'd him for that. I could see if he pushed the referee, if he nudged the referee, if he did something like that, different story. You're talking about a fighter. You're talking about a professional fighter who's in a zone when they get in the ring. You know, you hear the stories. You talk to any fighter, what they do to get themselves hyped up for the fight, what they do to prepare themselves. They try to focus on just their fighter, their task at hand, all these things. You know, they might envision something that person across the ring is doing to their family or something like that, or whatever they do to flip that switch, to turn them in from a human being that functions normally in society to a guy in a squared circle that's ready to take off his opponent's head because his opponent is ready to take his head off. You know, so whatever a fighter's got to do, whether it's get mean, whether it's mean and nasty to everyone around you, whether it's saying F you to this guy and that guy and everybody else, I think it's different than other sports. They're allowed to do that. And unless they raise a hand or push or shove or do something to a referee, I don't think a referee should disqualify a fighter because of something he said verbally. I'm aghast with it. I really am. I'm just it's terrible. It's terrible. Former female bantamweight champion for the WBA and WBC, Anita Christensen, got back in the ring on Saturday in Denmark, beautiful place, and she hasn't been in the ring since she lost her titles to Kalisha West, and she got in the ring on Saturday night against who did she fight? Anyway, who did she fight? Oh, Anita Christensen fought. I don't know. I don't even have her opponent's name. Isabel Lenardi. I'm sorry. Lisabel Lenardi. And it was a unanimous decision, 6-rounder, 58-56 twice and 59-56 to help Anita Christensen improve to 25 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. Other action. Mark Salzner improved to 14-0 when he beat Rodolfo Armenta over a 10-round decision. The judges saw it 98-92, and 2 had it at 99-91 with some kind of BS belt on the line. Armenta drops to 11-7-1. And finally, the last fight that I'm going to give you a result on, former world title contender, one time, Jose Aquinga, remained undefeated with a 7th round. He's a world title contender, not. He didn't challenge. He's not a world title challenger. I don't know if I said challenger or contender. I'm sorry if I said challenger. It's contender. With a 7th round knockout over Eduardo Arcos on Saturday. Arcos, he drops to 18 wins, 7 losses, and a draw. The official time was 1 minute and 45 seconds in the 7th round, and Aquinga improves to 33-0. Here's a guy 33-0. He's a world-ranked contender, and he hasn't gotten a world title shot yet. So, anyway, that takes care of that. Great fight by Carl Froch. I can't say enough about him, and of course his destruction over my man Bute. Hey, one thing I want to mention real quick before we take a break. If you're in the New York area, don't forget about Gleason's Gym, and even if you're not in the New York area, don't forget about Gleason's Gym Fantasy Boxing Camp. And also, don't forget about us trying to do a story about you if you sign up for the Boxing Fantasy Camp. Now, they've been doing this, Gleason's, for 10 years. It's August 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th. For 4 days, you go to a Boxing Fantasy Camp, and you live, eat, drink, and sleep like a professional boxer. And it all culminates into a performance that you will get to fight against another fellow Fantasy Boxing Camp member. We want to follow you. We want to get your thoughts. We want to get what's going on. We want to write a story about it. We want to get some film footage. We want to get some audio tracks. So we want you to sign up for the Gleason's Boxing Fantasy Camp. And as soon as you do, email me, Billy at talkinboxing, TalkinBoxing.com, and tell me you signed up. We'll put your name in the hat. And a couple of, I guess about a week or so before the camp begins, we will pull a name out. We will have a winner, and that winner will get the stories written about him from us. We want to follow you, man. We want to watch your fight. Who knows? Maybe we'll make you famous. For all the information about the Boxing Fantasy Camp, you can reach it by phone, the Gleason Gym, 718-797-2872, 718-797-2872, or you can visit our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and click the Gleason's Gym banner, which is on the right-hand side of the screen, and that'll give you all the info about the camp. They'll send you a brochure. They'll send you some online stuff, whatever you want, but sign up and let us know. ASAP.
The 2012 Summer Olympic Games unfold in 5 months in London. The honor and the history of playing host goes back a long way. How long? That's next on Sports Shorts with me, the Sports Princess.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Stouffer's, helping bring your family together with wholesome dinner options, even on the busiest of nights. Find dinner table ideas to bring your family together at letsfixdinner.com. To get kids involved in dinnertime conversation, ask specific questions, not broad ones. Instead of what happened today at school, try what was the best thing that happened today. The more specific you are, the more they'll have to say. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
Legend has it that the Olympics go back to Hercules, but let's leave Greek mythology out of it. The modern games opened in 1896. Since Athens couldn't afford to put them on, a businessman ponied up the coin. Pole vaulting, weightlifting, shot put, and swimming, few of the handful of events. Since those days, some of the original sports remain. Others come and go, depending on the whims of the International Olympic Committee. Australia, France, Germany, and China have hosted summer games, and this will be the third time for London. As for the Winter Games, the U.S. has hosted them 4 times since they started in 1924 in France, featuring sports like alpine cross-country skiing, figure skating, and such. Between the summer and the Winter Games, there are hundreds of sports and thousands of athletes. You never know what city is going to get a crack at hosting next. I'm the Sports Princess with Sports Shorts.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. Every week, 2 hours of the best boxing talk on the radio.
Mike Tyson looked like he put on some pounds. He was fat. He went into McDonald's and he just said to them, hey, give me 6 of everything on the menu. He put on 2 watches and covered 2 time zones. I'm talking fat here. Got on a scale the other day and it said, come on, one of you guys got to get off. Last thing I heard is that he jumped into the ocean and he left a ring around the continent. He's fat.
Boxing with Billy C.
Now back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. He may not have an Excellence in Broadcasting award, but the night's still young.
And he's got martinis.
So you never know what may be by morning. It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
Talking Boxing with Billy C.
The one, the only, Don King.
Makes me feel good, Billy, to have you, the #1 show in the country, Talking Boxing with Billy. So I invite each and every American that's listening to this great show to tune in, because we want you to be there with Billy and me.
St. Jimmy's coming down across the alleyway. Up on the boulevard like a zip gun on parade. Lights on the silhouette. He's just a butter net. Coming at you on the count of 1.
And we're back. You are listening to Talking Boxing with Billy C., a radio show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. Glad you could join us on this Memorial Day. At least it's a holiday for us here in the States. That's why the room is filled with people from outside the States, except for my man Caesar. He's, let's see, is he the only one? Yeah, I think, yeah, he is. Oh, I think he, oh no, that wasn't him. That was David Allen. He just left. You know, he hasn't even been around, David Allen, anymore. So whatever. Who cares? You know, he thinks I'm crazy. He thinks I'm crazy for scoring 2 rounds apiece to the Bute Carl Froch fight. You know, I saw it on a replay. I didn't get to see it live. I'm basing my score on a video of it that I actually had to watch different videos of every round. So you know, I could be wrong. I did see Froch winning the fight. I mean, I did see Froch manhandling Bute. I thought score-wise, I gave the first and third rounds to Bute. I know people say, "Oh, well, he was in trouble in the third round. How could you give him that one?" Well, because he was landing the punches up to the end of that round. The fourth round was all Froch, and then, of course, the fifth round. And the first round could have gone either way, right? I mean, realistically. But the bottom line is this. In that fight, I say one thing. I say that Lucian Bute tried to out-Froch Carl Froch. I've never seen him fight with his hands down, ever. Never saw him fight with his hands down. I'm talking about Bute. You know, not once did he attack the body. Okay, once. He landed one body shot. You know, and Carl Froch just is not, he just does not have the hand speed. He acts like he does. But, man, did he look like he had hand speed on Saturday night. He beat Bute to the punch. And it makes me wonder, like I was saying to Dax yesterday, you know, how well can Bute take a punch? You know, of course, all of the anti-Bute guys are saying, well, you see, this was his weak opposition, blah, 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 blah. You know, he just wasn't fighting the right fight. Or, hey, maybe this. Maybe, and I think Marty Mulcahy said something about this on Friday, maybe the fact that he was in hostile territory, so to speak, everyone cheering for Froch, maybe that did have an impact. I laughed. I said, nah, these guys that's not going to have an impact, but maybe it did. Who knows? The bottom line is you can't take anything away from Carl Froch. He won the fight. Not only did he win it, he knocked him out. And I don't care what transpires today, because something's going to happen. They're going to complain about that referee. It's going to happen. It's a natural thing that they're going to complain. They're going to watch the tape, and somebody's going to put the idea in their head to have that fight ruled as a no contest so that the belt is still on the line, so to speak, in Bute's hands when it comes back to Montreal. You know, I don't know. Because there's no reason to do it. There is a clause in the contract. Carl Froch has to go to Montreal right now to fight Bute in the next fight. I potentially see a possibility of a 3-fight trilogy should Bute win the second one. You know, if you're judging by the first performance, he doesn't have a chance in the second one either. But you know, Carl Froch is older, I should say. And, you know, when you get to be 34, 35 years old in the sport of boxing, especially when you look at the wars he's been in, he's going to age before our eyes. It did not happen on Saturday. I'm not saying it's going to happen when he fights Bute in Montreal, but I will tell you this. Should Bute win, I think you're going to see a trilogy. I think you'll see the third fight between those two. I think, I don't know where it will be, but I think you'll see a trilogy because I believe that Carl Froch and Lucian Bute are both in line to make more money fighting each other than they would to go to Andre Ward or Chad Dawson, because Chad Dawson and Andre Ward are both promoted by guys that don't want to spend any money. You know, Carl Froch has got Eddie Hearn. He's willing to spend some money. And Bute has Interbox. They're willing to spend some money. So, I mean, that's why those guys are going to be fighting each other again. And I just want... can I get to hug his girlfriend, Rachel? Can I get to hug her? I mean, did you see Carl Froch? Oh, my goodness. She had this... What was it, reddish or pinkish dress on, like really short, and those legs, and she's just beautiful. She's just beautiful. She was so happy everybody was hugging her. I wish I was, you know what I wish I was? Her credential. I wish I was Carl Froch's girlfriend's credential that night, you know? Jeez. Anyway, a couple of fights were announced. Kendall Holt, former world champ, he's got a record of 28 wins, 5 losses, 16 comeback KO. He's going to be fighting Khabib Alkadurayev. He's out of Russia. Imagine that. 16-0. That's going to be taking place on an ESPN. I'm sorry, it's going to be in Russia. Holt was just recently on ESPN, so we'll see what happens with that one. It's taking place June 20th in Russia. Another fight is a good one. Was Mike Dallas Jr. against Javier Castro. That's going to be the one that's on ESPN. That's coming at you at the Sobobia Casino. Sobobia. No, Soboa. I don't know. Sobaba. Sobaba. Yeah. That's it. Sobaba, man. It's Sobaba Casino. You know, the Sobaba Casino in San Quintento, California. June 22nd. I better quit while I'm ahead. June 22nd for those two. Now, you know why I like Mac Dallas, right? You know, I mean, I like him. He's a good fighter and everything else. But, Jackie Callan. Jackie Callan is my girl. I love her. She's the manager of Mike Dallas Jr. And Mike Dallas needs to get going again in the right direction. I mean, he's got a W under his belt. He's since his loss, he's 18-2 right now with a draw, and he's taken on Castro, who's the Latino champion. He's 27-4, so and he's ranked in the top 5 in a couple of the sanctioning bodies. So we'll see what happens there. Antonio DeMarco, we've been waiting. Who's he going to fight? These guys. Budweiser is saying what company's going to go? What company's going to buy a third or even of the replay of the first fight that was so one-sided? Well, what about the second fight? You know, that's going to be bought. The second fight will be bought. You know why the first fight wasn't bought, which was really stupid reasoning. Number one, Showtime said, well, he didn't win about Froch. He didn't win our tournament. So, and they had a contract. They have a contract in place where they have Bute, or HBO had a contract in place where they have Bute's next fight, and they chose to pass it up too. But if the two have a rematch, and which they are, in Montreal, it's going to be a little easier for a television to get TV rights here in the States because of the time. You know, and Budweiser is saying, well, there'll be better money elsewhere. Froch versus Cleverly, or maybe Froch versus Kessler too. I could see Kessler and Froch fighting again because I thought Froch won the first fight, to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of Kessler, but I think Froch won. But the thing with Kessler is I think he is looking for a big payday, and I could see that one happening. But as far as Cleverly, Froch, remember something. Froch is at the end of his career. I don't think a fighter wants to go down, walking away from the business, so to speak, being beat up. And a lot of fighters, more than less, do just that because they don't know when to say when. I don't think Carl is going to do that. I think Carl Froch is a smart guy. I do. I mean, he's got this gorgeous girlfriend that he wants to settle down with, and they're financially sound. I know he made a lot of money for this fight. He's going to make a lot of money for the second fight against Bute, and a third fight if Bute wins. Now, if Bute does not win, there is no need for a third fight, but a third fight would be huge dollars. So why would Carl Froch, and then if he walked away, he gets to walk away, with all this remembrance of him on a positive note. Why would he take on a young Cleverly or Kessler? I could see. But it all depends how long Carl Froch hangs in there. I don't know. All I know is he should enjoy the win because it was a great one on Saturday. Antonio DeMarco, like I started to say, he's the world lightweight champion, 27 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. Love watching this guy fight. 20 of his W's coming by knockout. Now, it was just announced late last week that his next opponent, they were talking about several different guys, but his next opponent, it's been made official. It's going to be taking place on August 20th, and it's going to be against Alejandro Sanabria. 32 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 24 wins coming by knockout. I'm not sure where... it's going to be in Tijuana, Mexico, or Mexico. So it's going to be in Mexico on August 20th. So I like DeMarco. I'm sorry. I do. Not that I should apologize for liking him, but Sherman Tank Williams is going to be taking on Chauncey Welliver June 28th. We mentioned a little bit of that last week. Delvin Rodriguez, this week we got a big fight of his coming up as he fights... He's going to be on the undercard of a good card that's taking place. So we'll be watching him. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be on Showtime. So we'll see what happens with Rodriguez. Everybody knows him with the fights that took place with Paulie Wallach. You know, the main event, it's called 4-1s. It's Antonio Tarver. It's taking on Latif Coyote. Early prediction there. Coyote wins by knockout. Peter Quinlan, he's going to be taking on Winky Wright. That's going to be a snooze fest with Peter Quinlan winning. Austin Trout, he's undefeated, 24-0. He's taking on Delvin Rodriguez. And in my opinion, that is the best fight of the night. And Vusi Malinga against Leo Santa Cruz, that's going to be a good one too. So 4 fights, all going to be shown on Showtime. And I'm looking forward to that one this weekend. We'll obviously break down and everything else. So, whatever. David Allen's trying to piss me off, but you know, I don't care what he thinks. But the Battle of the Bull, the Lucero, I mentioned this last week, that Emmanuel Lucero has to step in for Joel Diaz as part of the Battle of the Boat 87. They've done 87 of these already. Now, he was supposed to originally fight... who was he supposed to fight? It doesn't matter. He was supposed to fight somebody that I think that Emmanuel Lucero is actually a better opponent for him. I think it's going to be a tougher fight for him, but we'll have to wait and see. But you know, hey, Lucero's got a record of 26 wins, 10 losses, and a draw, and of course we all know that Joel Diaz is undefeated. I think he's 10-0 now, 8-0, something like that, 8-9-0, something like that. So he's going to be stepping in there. June 1st this week, we'll see a couple other good fights. Sergey Kovalev against Darnell Boone. Darnell Boone is a tough guy, so you know, it's not a layup by any stretch. Mason Menard, not many people know him, but they all have heard of the UBO, right? No. But Mason Menard, he's out of the South, Louisiana. And the reason why no one knows him is because he never leaves the South, and they don't want to, invest anything in this guy to, put him on TV or put him on a webcast or something like that. And instead, he keeps fighting in front of the large crowds of about 60 people. And he's got a title. He's only got one loss. He's 19-1 with 14 knockouts, and he's going to make his first world title defense of the coveted Universal Boxing Organization's lightweight title, and he's taking on Lightning Lonnie Smith. Now, Lightning Lonnie Smith is 14 wins, 3 losses, and a couple of draws. If I'm Mason Menard, I'd watch out for Lightning Lonnie, because this is the toughest opponent that Mason Menard has ever faced. Lightning Lonnie better, Mason Menard better keep his hands up in that one. But anyway, June 23rd is the next night of amateur boxing at Gleason's. You know, if you've never done that before, if you've never gone to Gleason's and watch some amateurs fight, it's a good time. But we're interested in the seniors. You know, they have Masters, Juniors, and Senior League now, all supported by USA Boxing, which is the sanctioning body, so to speak, of amateurs. Now, our very own Dax Khan is supposed to be reaching out to until the next round. This was a guy that used to come on the show every now and then. They got a radio show that's on our network and all that stuff. And Dax is supposed to reach out to him and get some updates on the amateur boxing scene. So we're waiting for that to happen. And specifically this white-collar stuff is also, that's what Bruce calls it. Bruce Gleason, Bruce Silverglade from Gleason's says that the white-collar boxing is very popular, and it's in the senior league. And they're all registered, and they're all sanctioned bouts by USA Boxing. But these are individuals that are over the 36-year-old limit, and most of them are professionals, going in to train for fitness, boxing-wise, and decide to decide to fight, competitively, and this is how that was born. And we're hoping that we're going to be doing an event there in the near future. And I do hope that Dax comes up with the story, which he's working on now. So we'll get that soon, and we'll be talking about that. Hey, speaking of talking about, don't forget to cast your vote up on BillyCBoxing.com. The poll question is, there's rumor about, people have said to us, we should do the show from here, we should do the show from there. And there's rumor around that we are going to make a move at some point in time. And I just don't know where you think we should broadcast this show out of. The top choices that we're working on right now are up on the website. If you go check it out, www.BillyCBoxing.com, read the options. Those are all locations that the show, if you think the show would be better if we broadcast from one of those locations rather than the luxurious studios here in beautiful Lake George, New York, I'm going to vote today, and I'm voting for Lake George. So, because I like to stay here. But we'll see, because there's some other really good places there. I know New York City's one. I know that Albuquerque, New Mexico's one. South Florida, Las Vegas. So where do you think fits this show and what this show is about? Where do you think we would fit in the most? And what do you think would be advantageous not only to the show to be in those places, but it would be advantageous for us and for boxing fans, because all those places that are listed happen to be big boxing towns. So cast your vote on that. I also want to remind everyone about the premium podcast. Yeah. The premium podcast. You gotta keep up on those, man. And if you're not a premium podcast subscriber, then you're letting us all down. And the bottom line with that, all kidding aside, is that you get all of the content to you, and you have it all available to you through the podcast, past and present. So make sure you do that. You can register for the premium podcast by visiting www.talkingboxing, TalkinBoxing.com, and click the subscribe button. If you have Billy C. Boxing set for your homepage, you can get it from there too. Hey, another thing I wanted to remind everybody, don't forget, big fight coming up. Big fight. I'm going to be calling the action. It's going to be coming at us from, speaking of Albuquerque, from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Holly Holm is going to try one more time to beat Anne-Sophie Mathis. If you recall, last year they fought, and it didn't work out for Holly too well. She was knocked out brutally, I might add. Was it last year, or was it early this year? Well, in any event, it was took place already, and Anne-Sophie Mathis won the fight. Yeah, it must have been this year. It must have been early. It must have been, you know what? I think it was early this year. So they're going to have the rematch, so I'll keep you posted on where you can watch it. It's going to be on television, or it's going to be on a webcast, something. We'll keep you posted. I don't have that info in front of me, but you can go to our website and check it out, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and click on the Reckoning. You'll see the Reckoning poster on the right-hand side. As a matter of fact, it's right on the right-hand side. You click it, it'll take you to there. Now, Dax and I, if you go down on the front page, Dax and I did a preview of this fight, and you can listen to that. You can visit our YouTube for that and search it, or you can just go to our website and click on the Reckoning. There's not the poster, but there's a press release that's out, and I think the link is there. Some comments coming from the chat room. London Ryan says he thinks that Holly Holm will win the rematch, but she'll have to box smart, or she's going to be brutalized again. I agree with him 100%. And I also think that the promoter, Fresquez, has to make sure that the right ring is put in place. They had an 18-by-18 small ring, which was perfect for Anne-Sophie Mathis. And they have to, not keep, Holly Holm was trying to impress everyone in Albuquerque and didn't want to run, because the only criticism that she has ever gotten is that she runs too much. But that's what boxers do. Muhammad Ali was a runner, right? Sugar Ray Leonard was a runner. Floyd Mayweather was a runner, is a runner until, his last 2 fights. But, a runner isn't a bad thing. A runner is someone who can box on their feet, man. You got a runner, you got a plotter. Sometimes runners are better, right? But we'll see. So we'll see what happens there. Another thing is, I mentioned Albuquerque, and I can't help but once again think of Johnny Tapia. He's no longer with us. In case you're just joining us, in case you didn't hear, Johnny Tapia was found dead late last night, around 7:30 p.m. last night in Albuquerque. That's Albuquerque time. They do not have an official, at least as of now. Maybe during the show they've come up with an official reason. The police do not suspect foul play. He was 45 years old, and they're doing an autopsy to figure it out. Now, I had gotten an obituary that was forwarded to me that cannot possibly be correct. And as a matter of fact, it can't even be the same guy. Because, first of all, the date was wrong. It said January. The name was the same, but the date was wrong of the date of death. It said January. That's number one. Number two, it also said that he was 57 years old. That's wrong. So, unless there was another Johnny Tapia who happened to have lived in the same town, as Johnny Tapia did, and it's just a coincidence that he passed away in January of this year. That is not the obituary of Johnny Tapia, the fighter. Johnny Tapia, the fighter, just died yesterday, not in January, and he wasn't 57, he was 45, and or it might have been 47. He's either 45 or 47. Let me just, I'll find out. And he was 45, just like I thought. But it's a shame, and I'm shocked. I just got to talk with him. Not too long ago, and he was like, he was renewed. He wasn't talking comeback, but he was training fighters, and he was very vocal. And I don't know, man. It's sad. It's sad that we lost him, and we also lost another fighter from Thailand, and Kiattaweesuk is how you say his name. That was another tragic death in the sport of boxing. Kiattaweesuk was driving his vehicle and lost control of his car. He hit a tree, killing himself, his wife, and his 2 nephews. How sad is that one? And to make it, I don't know if it's worse or better. His 2 daughters were in the car too, and they are hanging on to life right now. They were critically injured in the car, but they're both alive. One is worse than the other, and on one hand, you got to be thankful that they're alive. On the other hand, when they're healed up, I mean, they just lost both their parents in tragic accident, their cousins. Terrible stuff. Hey, don't forget we do the thumbs up, thumbs down immediately following this show. So if you're listening live, make sure you stick around for that one. Because we got a couple of thumbs up, thumbs down based on the show today and what we think and all that stuff. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. We got a great show scheduled. Wednesday we got our Blast from the Past, which is going to feature heavyweight Hall of Famer Peter Jackson. And yes, Tony Treem, he's coming back. Don't worry, he's a regular. We got his regular segment. Everybody's been asking about Tony. And all I could say, well, now it's time for...
Wake up. It's time for the...
It's too early for a trivia question.
The it's too early for a trivia question has been hanging around for a while. And, we finally got a winner. And the question was, who fought the most fights from 1940 to 1949? Now, the winner just would not take no for an answer. This winner is a fighter because he was knocked down not once but twice and got back up. Well, I'm meaning knocked down because he got 2 incorrect answers. But he got back up, and he ends up winning. Who fought the most fights from 1940 to 1949? Oh, by the way, before I announce the winner, today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question is being brought to you by Fresquez Promotions and the Holly Holm and Sophie Mathis 2 fight. Check it out at the Route 66 Casino Hotel. We want you to show up there. If you're going to the fight, drop me an email, and we'll arrange where we can hook up. But visit our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and click the Reckoning fight poster for all the info. All right, who fought the most fights from 1940 to 1949? Well, Brett Sherwood, my man Brett. He knew that Lou Perez fought 190 professional fights from 1940 to 1949. Now, here's the thing. Brett, what was on the line was a title bout championship computer game. And Brett, being a computer expert and having a million games, decided that he wanted a book instead. So I'm glad. I gave him a list of options, and he's going to let me know which book he wants. But congratulations to my man Brett for getting this one that was hanging around for way too long. So, Brett, congratulations. You're going to get the book of your choice. Check your email, and you'll get you let me know where to send it. So today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question. Question is, yeah, you guessed it. It's another who fought the most. That's right. And guess what? Come on. I know. Who fought the most fights from 1950 to 1959? Who fought the most fights from 1950 to 1959? On the line is that title bout championship computer game. That's right. It's worth $40, and it's yours if you know who fought the most fights from 1950 to 1959. Email me the correct answer if you know it. Billy at TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing.com.
This day in boxing history.
And finally, this day in boxing history is being brought to us by Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, look for the ones that keep my ass out of trouble. That's Campanaro and Tomkovich. Call them for all your legal issues and let Campanaro and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. 845-221-4099. 845-221-4099. On this day, May 28th, back in 1934, Barney Ross wins a 15-round decision over Jimmy McLaren to win the world welterweight title, and that took place on this day, May 28th in 1934, on Long Island City. Here's a little tidbit for you. 4 months later, in September 17th in 1944, McLaren wins a 15-round decision over Barney Ross to win his title back. But no, wait, there's more, because then on the same day, on today, May 28th in 1935, a year later from the original fight, Barney Ross wins it back. And that one took place in 1935, May 28th, in New York City. So all of that happening on this day, May 28th. Hey, man, that concludes our show for today. I got one thing to remind you, aside from the fact that thumbs up, thumbs down coming, but I got this. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning. Same bat time, same bat channel. It's called the Fight Now channel. You got to call your local television provider right now and tell them you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports channel lineup. It's that simple. Pick up the phone and call them. Whether you have satellite dish or cable, you want Fight Now added to your sports channel lineup. For all the information about the channel, visit their website, www.fightnow.com. Ciao, baby.